Welcome back. Yesterday I made a video on after coloring my hair, but I didn't share it because I was totally disappointed. It's a very silly thing sometimes, but then whatever thought stays in your head as the dominant thought, I would say, is what you speak about most, right? So yesterday if I had made a video, the dominant thought would have been, how come the hair color has changed from that brown to black? I was so disappointed yesterday. The thing is that I colored my hair on the gray first, actually. So last time when I colored my hair, I had a lot of gray hair, silver gray. So on that, any color will be shown as it is. In fact, if you color red, your hair color is going to be red because you are coloring on something like white. For example, if you color on a white page, red is going to be red, right? But if you color red on a black, it seems it'll not be seen as red. So when you color, usually the color that I use for my hair is burgundy. So when you color burgundy on silver gray, like what I had when I got it colored previously, it will turn out burgundy, in the sense whatever color I had before last week. But if you color it on black or brown, like I had brown hair last time when I went, so it seems when you color it on that hair, it's going to turn out this way. So this is almost like black, almost like a smooth black, that's it. And if you go in sun, you get to see a little of tinge of brown, that's it. And suddenly to have that change was surprising because I like brown hair. I don't like black at all. So the next time when I go, I'm going to get something different, in the sense either a light shade probably or a darker red, so that at least you get to see a little of red on the hair. Okay, that's one tip I would like to give anybody who wants to color their hair and whose basic hair color is black. Let me tell you, whatever color you apply on your black hair, if your basic color is dark, it's not going to show up that way. It's going to show up as almost black, like what I have. Only your scalp turns to that color, and the rest of the color will be of this shade. That's so disappointing. So that was my dominant thought yesterday. Okay, forget about that. That's a small tip I'm giving. So there are so many people who are interested in coloring their hair, so I'm just letting you know that if you thought of coloring your hair and your natural hair color is black, any color that you go for is going to show up as black. Unless you have a light shade hair, unless you or maybe you have to go for bleaching. That's a different thing. But otherwise, it's going to be. I'm not sure of streaks. I've not used that. I used the Garnier color, but Garnier color usually when you go for burgundy or some other color, it's going to show up like this. It's just a gray hair coverage. That's all, and it also gives you a smoothness. That's it. But the colors you want to get, either you have to get your naturally it has to be gray like how I had it, or you have to go for bleaching, which is not at all good for your hair. Okay, so the next time I go, I'm going to get some darker shades like Mangani or purple, and probably you have to go for two shades, in the sense if your roots are gray like mine, you have to go for the roots you need one color, but for the rest of your hair you need a different color. That's how you can try that. Okay, so what else are we going to talk about today? In fact, when I come and sit here, today I have not thought of anything to speak about. I did some talking there in the chamber, in the sense not talking, but some thought processing, which I did while sitting there. But coming here, I have not thought of anything at all. Does it happen to you, like you, whenever you want to make a video, do you always come prepared? Like, it's always good to come prepared. If you are prepared to talk of something, it's better than just coming here and talking just anything there is in your mind, because sometimes it's not something serious at all. It's very silly things that you talk, and that doesn't make sense all the time. Not all the time. Sometimes it's okay, not all the time, right? So that's about it. I have some serious topics, but I'm not taking it now. Some other day probably we can talk about those. So today let me just ask about time. Okay, again, I think we have already spoken about time before, some time back maybe, but let's talk about time again. Okay, the fact is that we all believe we have so much time. Like I spoke about getting stuck the other day in the other video, right? So I was just telling you, we usually get stuck because we don't know about it, and things like that. I spoke on that, but later I just want to say that why do we think, even when we know we are stuck, we never try to, even when we accept it, probably we don't like to go to the final stage of it. Like what I said, we don't like to act upon it. Probably one of the common reasons is that we believe we have time. We believe that we have time. So what happens when we believe that we have time? How much time we do have? How much time? They say everybody has 24 hours in a day. I have 24 hours, you have 24 hours. It's the same amount of time that we all have. But the thing is that sometimes we don't do the things that we have to do on time, believing that we have so much of time, and it's not so important to get it done in the shortest time. How is it so important that we have to do it, like getting stuck and getting unstuck and things like that? Why do we have to be in a hurry? We have so much time. I am only 46. I have so much time. I have more time than you, who is in their 90s probably. But thing is that if you compare with people who are in their 20s, they have more time than you have, right? It's like we have this tendency to lean on time factor and always take advantage of it. Human beings have that tendency. Like we always measure the time in short term and long term. In the sense, if you measure it on short term, we believe that it's okay, we still have some hours. It's okay, we still have some months to get it done, and blah blah blah. But if you are talking of time in long term, we believe that we still have time. Like I still have a decade. I am not even 60. I have enough time, and we take advantage of the time factor all the time. But the thing is that if we ever knew that we have very little time for some reason to get things done, we tend to do it pretty much in time or on time. That's not these two things are different. Doing in time and on time is totally different. Somebody had told me this, and I've just registered it somewhere. So that's one reason that whenever I used to get some work or assignment, I always ask for a time limit, in the sense, give me a deadline, because when you get a deadline, you know that you have to get it done within that time. It's very important that you do and you get over it within that time, right? so that you don't take advantage of this time factor, leaning on it, believing that we have so much time, whether it is short term or long term. Because short term time, in the sense, I just mentioned it, it's like we believe I can do it tomorrow, I can do it next week, I can do it. I've got hours, you see. It's not like it just ends now. Like you want to go somewhere, you know that you have enough time. I don't have to go today. I can go some other day. Some other day. There is one word which I really don't like, I never liked it, and still, but it's a part of our conversation, and it's part of our language as such, and it's a part of the reality itself. And that word is, let me tell you what's that word. That word is someday. Someday. There's a song also on that. I don't like that. I'm like, don't say someday. Tell me when exactly. Tell me, measure it and tell me. Make it more measurable. It's so vague when you say someday. Where is that someday? It could be 20 years from now is also someday. Tomorrow is also someday. So why don't you just make it measurable? Because it makes more sense. It's not that you lack patience. It's just that we like things when it is more measurable. Because we can lean on it. We don't tend to take advantage of the belief that time, we have enough time. Whenever you have a limit of time, whether it is to get things done, or whether it is that you are expecting something to happen in your life, and somebody tells you within this much time, like the Parliament House was supposed to be inaugurated, I think in January, and due to some reasons, due to COVID and all those issues, whatever came up in between, it got so delayed, and it got postponed to a time we don't know when it is going to be inaugurated now. So many times I keep asking, whenever I get a chance to write, I ask, like, when is it going to be inaugurated? I just want to know. So because when you give a time, thing is that we register it. We know, we start calculating, we start to planning accordingly. Whenever anything in our life, for that matter, it's much better when we know how much time we have. It helps in preparing better, I guess. So and we don't tend to take advantage of the time factor by leaning on it, by believing that we have all the time there. It doesn't work that way. So the next time somebody tells you someday, just ask him, when is that someday? When is that someday? I'm not asking for the date. Just tell me how much more time. Is it like a few more months? Is it like decades? Is it like till I'm alive? Or what are you trying to say? Someday? Someday I'm going to be happy. Someday I'm going to be rich. Someday I'm going to be employed. Someday I'm going to see you. So it's like you are making a promise with nothing to hold to. You say, I'm going to meet you someday. You're trying to give me some hope, good hope. But the thing is, where should I be holding to? There's nothing to hold on to when you say someday. So don't add someday. As far as possible, try to keep it to yourself. Someday. Someday is so vague. Someday is like telling people, we're going to see a world which is much better, where everybody has justice, and where everybody are free from corruption. Probably all these things which we are talking about, we often say someday, because we have no idea at all exactly to say when it is going to happen. Like, we don't say someday it's going to rain. We don't say like that. We say it's going to probably rain during monsoon. It's going to probably rain so and so week, so and so month, as mentioned in the forecast. We don't say someday. someday I'm going to deliver the baby. We don't say that. When we know that we are pregnant, we don't say. Probably you can say someday I'm going to be a mother. Maybe you can say that. But for most of the things, when you add someday, I get so irritated reading that. I just ignore it. It's like don't make promises, and then don't just make it so vague. Don't use the word someday. So my thought question for you today is, how much time do you think you have to get things done? When we know that, we start planning better, for everything for that matter, because we have a very bad tendency to lean on to the time factor and take advantage of it. That's a worst part of it. I don't know why we do it, but we all do it. I do it, you do it, and we do it on both ways, in the sense on the by resting on it on short-term advantage and long-term as well. So that's to tell you clearly, okay, about the time factor. Today is what day is today? It is Friday, and I'll be back tomorrow as well with something. It's a very, very sunny and windy day here. I'd gone out to color my hair, and that's the reason I did make a video, but it's a private video. Okay, very disappointed with the black. They did the same efforts, but the thing is that the result is black, and I'm like, where did my brown hair go? So if anybody knows about a shade that goes on black or brown hair, just let me know. My basic hair color is black, so I want to turn it into brown or purple or any other colors of that sort, but without getting it bleached. So if you have any idea, please let me know, and let me just try to show you it in the sun and see if you can just get a glimpse of what is this new shade like. Okay, let me take you there. I don't know if you can see it. This is the sunlight, and can you see anything in my hair other than the black that I can see? Last time when I colored my hair and I looked in the mirror, let's say in the parlor, I was surprised looking at the color difference. I couldn't believe that it has turned to this color, the color that I've always wanted. It's not like you don't like the things that you're born with. There are so many aspects in my personality which I really, really like, and I would never want to exchange them for anything else. Some of them I'm born with, and some of them which I acquired, which I cultivated. But about this hair, I don't like black hair. I would rather go for some brown shades. That's what I always wanted, because I like it. So people, when you say that, they tend to say that they tend to argue with you, saying that anything that you are born with, people don't like it. People always feel the grass is greener on the other side, and blah blah blah. You know how they speak, right? But that's not the fact. The thing is, there are so many things I like about my personality which I am born with, or as I said, which I have cultivated. But when you ask me for a preference or a choice about the hair color, I would definitely go with the brown shades, not black. I don't like black hair. So please, if you know how to get it colored without bleaching, do let me know in the comment box, so that the next time I go, I would be able to pick a color which will look slightly different than the black. Okay, take care. I'll be back tomorrow.